First and foremost, I need y'all to like this video right now. I need y'all to subscribe to this channel and click the bell somewhere on this video so you know when I post another video. And then I need you see that right there? I need y'all to follow that account right there. That's my personal Instagram account. Go ahead and follow that. I need that.
I need that. I want that.
What's going on YouTube? AUSTINSLENS again, back with another video. Welcome. I know it's been a couple weeks that I was absent, but you know, the holidays just passed. Went back home to see family and friends, spend that time, and then I traveled. I was in Houston for about 3-4 days, but now I'm back in Atlanta and I'm ready to hit the ground running for 2024. So today, something that's been on my heart is how to make 2024 the best year of your life. Now, as stated previously, 2022 was one of the most difficult years I've ever had to experience. But one thing that I am aware of is that I was largely responsible for the things that I went through. So when it comes to making, because every year everybody's saying, this year is my year, this year is my year. I've been that guy, I've said it before. I think I've said it every year since like 2020. And it's funny because 2020, I said, oh, this is my year. And then, you know, pandemic happens, whatever. That happened to all of us. But then I had no idea. You have to be able to, the thing about life is that we can't control what's going to happen. All we can do is roll with the punches. We have to control the controllables. That's something my parents have always said, control the controllables. And you never know what's going to take place. Now, when you get hit with a curveball, you can't just be out for the count. Like, that's not, successful people, they endure. Successful people aren't successful because everything went according to plan. Successful people are successful because they had a plan, they set actionable steps, they went forth, things went left, and then they pivoted, and then they continued to persevere even through the challenges. So 2020, I said, this is my year. It wasn't. I don't know. Well, I was gonna say I don't know if it was anybody's year, but no, a lot of people actually got rich in 2020. If I had been thinking the way I think now, I believe I would have been rich too. I just didn't know what I know now. Pandemic happens. I'm stuck at the house. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't really know how to. I feel like the things that I went through in that year, kind of prepared me for a lot of things that I was going to go through the next year. 2021. Oh, this is my year. I didn't know. I moved to Atlanta in 2020, but I still was very ill prepared for living alone. I didn't even know that though, but you don't know. Nobody knows. Like when they say if you about to have a baby, nobody just plans, now I'm ready to have a baby. People just have a baby and then they just go with it. They figure it out along the way. 2022. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like 2022, maybe I think I already knew. I don't think I thought it was my year that year. But 2023, I was on the heels of everything that I had endured previously and still recovering and putting the pieces back together. But I was very optimistic for that year. And I feel like that was one of the years where I experienced the most growth. Not only, mental maturity, but emotional, spiritual. My mindset evolved completely. I cannot go back to what I was before. My entire brain chemistry is shot, like it's done. There's no way I could go back to the way I saw the world before 2023 happened. Going into 2024, I feel more optimistic than I've ever felt. Why? Not because I'm delusional like I might have been in the past, but because I literally went through the fire and I have done the real internal work of reverse engineering what I want to see in my life. And I'm not done, but I feel like I'm on the right path. The first step, I feel like, when it comes to changing your life, you got to identify that you're unsatisfied with where you are and the way things have panned out in the past. There's no way to change if you think there's nothing that needs to be changed. That's impossible. You can't say, okay, I'm gonna get rich this year, but you don't think you're poor now. Like, you gotta at some point identify, okay, I'm poor and I need to change these things about me so that I can get to this goal. You cannot stay the same and want to be different. And you can't even want to be different and stay the same. Like, both things can't happen at the same time. So you have to identify that. You have to, there's no way that you can get around that. The second thing is you have to identify what you want to change. Now, whether that's your bank account, whether that's your relationship with your family, your romantic relationship, your work life, or your job, your business, you have to identify what it is that you want to change. You can't just say, I want to be better, and you don't know what you want to be better at. Now you're just spinning your wheels and doing a bunch of activity. And oftentimes people confuse activity with progress. Next, you have to identify what aspects of your routine do not align with the person that you say you want to be. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, no matter if you believe it or not, every single person on this planet has a routine, whether you want to acknowledge that or not. Your routine can be, I wake up at 5 a.m., I work out, I pray, I meditate, I eat breakfast, I do this, I do that. Or your routine can be you wake up and you let the day pass you. But whether you actively have a routine or inactively have a routine, you have one. Let's look at our lives. Let's identify what it is in our routine that is not in alignment with who we said we wanted to be. Because nobody else is forcing you to do what you said you wanted to do. So at some point we gotta look in the mirror. And the reason I'm able to speak with such conviction is because I literally have been that person. I know exactly what that's like to say I want one thing and do something else for whatever reason that is, whether you think the work is too hard, whether you feel like you're like deluding yourself into thinking you're doing the work when you're really not. Whatever reason there is, I've been that person that thought I wanted something but wasn't putting in the real effort to do that. And that's not to bash anybody. Like, we all have to go through that where we realize, okay, I haven't been doing the things that I said I wanted to do. I haven't been true to my goal. I've been a fraud. Like, I've had to look at myself in the mirror and say that to myself and be aware. I've been a fraud. I'm not doing what I said I wanted to do. I'm not being the person who I know I am or who I know I can be. And that's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that. But what's not okay is to ignore it and pretend that you're doing all the things and you're really not. You know deep down if you're really putting in that effort. You see, most people, they know exactly what they need to do to succeed or otherwise. Most people know exactly what they need to do, but they are avoidant of the work. I've been that person too. Ask me how I know. I've been that person. Prime example, I got on YouTube in 2020, and when I got back in October, in 2 months, I had done more work than I had done in an entire year when I first started. And surprised at the speed of the results that I experienced during that time. You know, what you cannot do is claim dissatisfaction, spend the entire year doing the same things, and then be mad that your life looks the same next year. Yesterday was December 31st. When I tell you I spent the entire day reflecting on the year I just had and thinking about where am I gonna be 1 year from today. But the beautiful thing about it is that is all in my hands. Now, there will be things that happen that are out of my control, but are you ferocious enough to be able to overcome what life is going to throw at you? Nobody is going to have an easy life. Life is not easy. Life is actually simple. My dad always says this too. Things are simple, but they're not easy. I believe life is simple, but we make it hard. We complicate it by doing things that we know we shouldn't do, not doing things that we know we should do. That's the thing. It's very simple, but to do the right thing is kind of boring sometimes. I feel like to do right all the time, it goes against everything we know. We came on this earth flawed beings, fresh out the womb. So it's not in our nature to do the right thing. But with maturity, with physical, with mental, emotional, spiritual maturity, comes that growth where you're able to reject all of the ways that you want to do wrong and choose to do right every time. At the end of the day, we know what needs to be done. We already know that we need to be working hard. We already know that we need to be going to the gym, training our body, training our mind. We already know that we need to be eating right, taking care of our bodies from the inside and out. Those are just 3 things. Oh, we already know that we need to have a healthy relationship with money. We know that we don't need to be blowing our money here knowing the bill's not paid. We don't need to be living beyond our means trying to keep up with people who don't care about us. We already know these things. Let's spend 2024 doing the things that we know we need to do and not doing the things that we know that we shouldn't do. I think that's gonna be the difference. There's so much more that could be said, needs to be said, and will be said, but I'm gonna save that for another video. As of right now, I just think that is something that can be focused on today. Do what you need to do. Don't do what you know you don't need to do. If we go into this new year focusing on those 2 things, then the rest will take care of itself. But for now, my name is AUSTINSLENS. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. I'm gonna see you next time.
Got no stick in a ride. If I take flicks with the guys, I gotta put emojis over like 3 faces, cause the feds can't see those eyes. People I shouldn't be beside. When I was an actor, they would go Stratford just to sell food on Bieber's side.